Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question now, and you have to tell the truth, okay? Have you been ordering Grubhub every single day? Maybe? Huh? Okay, so it's Yajen here. Today we're gonna talk about how you can not gain weight during this whole shutdown, lockdown, whatever you wanna call this thing going on right now. And the reason why I'm filming this video is for the past couple of weeks and months, I've heard way too an abnormal number of people coming up to me telling me how due to the shutdown they've been gaining weight. Yes, I understand, a lot of the gyms, the activities are shut down. We are not allowed to operate indoors right now, so we moved everything outdoors for the time being. And then, in LA County, Southern California, I guess California all over, the fire's starting to pop up. So it's like you can't be inside, you can't be outside, like what's going on here? Anyways, we're gonna break down a couple of tips and tricks that you can apply for yourselves so that you do not continue to gain weight during this shutdown, okay? I know it's a lot going on for everyone right now, but it's definitely important for us to all do our parts and try to navigate this situation so that we can still stay healthy, we can still stay fit, and again, just keep ourselves active during this time. So let's dive into it, all right? Number one, you have to make rules for yourself. I'm really big on this one. If there's no boundaries, then how do you know when you step past them, right? You're not gonna know when you've passed the boundaries unless those boundaries exist. And I don't want these to be so firm that you feel like restricted or deprived of things that you need. However, if you're getting to a point where you're drinking every single night, you're not working out anymore, you're eating out every night and not paying attention to the foods that you're eating, you started buying snacks every time you go to the grocery store, and now you're finishing off a bag of Cheetos every single night, then you probably need some sort of rules to follow. And this might be as simple as when you go to the grocery store, skip out on the snacks. Or if you find yourself eating out very often, then before you have to make the decision of what to eat, bust out a list. All right, 5 restaurants, 10 restaurants, 15, 20, whatever works for you. If it's for me, I'd probably stick to like 2 or 3. But bust out that list so that you know when it's time to order some food. You can see just make the choice from the list rather than should I have a burger or should I have a wrap? You don't have to make that decision. If you want to go a little further into that, you can also break it down and research those restaurants in advance so that okay, when I go to restaurant A, I have options 1, 2, or 3 to choose from. Again, it's taking that decision-making element out of it so that we can guarantee that we make good decisions when the time comes, okay? So again, tip number 1, make rules for yourself. Now, tip number 2, don't make it easy for you to break those rules. If you have a Grubhub problem, then get rid of Grubhub. My biggest thing that I always tell people, maybe not my biggest thing, but one thing you probably have heard from me before is if you don't want to eat the cookies, don't leave the cookies on the counter. You can tell yourself that you're not going to eat the cookies all you want, but if when the cookies are sitting right there on the counter in front of you, you're probably going to end up eating the cookies sooner or later. And I'm speaking from this out of past experience. I used to go to Sprouts, get my groceries once, twice every single week, and each time I go, I'd be like, those chocolate chip cookies look really good over there, so I'm gonna grab a box of them, leave them on my desk, and you probably know what ended up happening. As I'm going through the day, I'm getting my work done, it's like, oh, I'm doing good work, I'll grab a cookie. Cool, that was a really good cookie, maybe I'll have 2 cookies. And before you know it, some days I would literally be finishing off an entire box of cookies, a 3,000-4,000 calorie box of cookies in one day, which is absolutely insane. Point is, don't make it easy for yourself to break the rules. There's no point in making the rules if we can't follow them through. Now, that being said, it's okay for you to slip up some of the time, but when you slip up, you got to kind of look back and see, okay, what was the reason causing this? And is this really important to me? Or am I just doing this because this YouTube video told me to create rules for myself? But if it really is important to you and you find yourself slipping up, cool. Let's figure out why. Let's fix that reason. Again, if you're telling yourself not to eat cookies, yet you're leaving cookies on the counter, get them out of the counter, right? If you want a cookie, go out and buy 1 cookie, not a box of cookies. And that's more often than not probably going to solve your problem. So number 2, make sure you don't make it easy for you to break the rules. All right, the rules are there for a reason. We want to stick to them. We want to follow them. They're here to help us, not to hurt us. Okay. And third and final tip is to keep yourself moving. I know with a lot of indoor activities shut down, it's kind of tough because what we've been used to doing might not be available anymore. And that was why at the beginning of this, well, not beginning, maybe 2 or 3 months into this whole shutdown, a lot of people were coming up to me saying, hey, the gym's been closed for a couple of months and I've been doing nothing, and now I'm 10 pounds heavier, 20 pounds heavier, whatever it is, because we don't know or we haven't taken the time to figure out how to adapt. All right. And I know especially in the LA area or the California area, or I guess the West Coast in general, when everything's on fire and you can't be indoors, you can't be outdoors, it's like, what do? We got to figure a way around that. Maybe that means working out in your living room for a little bit, or going out for a run on the clearer days. If you're not on the West Coast, this probably doesn't apply as much. But again, we have to figure out a way around it. And I know especially being stuck at home can make it a little tougher for us to build ourselves up to have that motivation to get our workout done. It's very easy to, I'll do it later. 30 minutes, I'll do it later. 60 minutes, I'll do it later. And you get to the end of the day, you've been working for 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, like 15 hours if you're Elon Musk. And you're like, I don't want to work out anymore. So don't push it off, but figure out how you can squeeze it into your schedule. And that might mean breaking it up. So there's this really interesting strategy called an exercise snack, which is basically figuratively a bite-sized bit of exercise to help keep you moving throughout the day. And this could be 5 reps at a time, 20 reps at a time, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you feel like you can kind of squeeze through if you have a quick lunch break. And I think for those of you out there working from home right now, this is probably going to really help you out. Because instead of looking at your workout or your exercise as this one big block at the end of the day or in the afternoon or whenever it is, we're splitting this up into bite-sized pieces so that you can keep on cranking them out. If you're doing smaller bits of maybe like 2 minutes or less, 3 minutes or less, set a timer. Maybe at the top of every hour, you're gonna get one round of that knocked out. Not only is this going to help you keep yourself active and moving throughout the day, this is definitely gonna help get the heart pumping, the blood flowing, and therefore the mind starts to wake up and think clearer and process things a lot better as well. So yeah, those are our 3 tips. To kind of recap on those a little bit, make rules for yourself, okay? Set guidelines, set boundaries, just so that you're aware. Don't beat yourself up if you break the rules sometimes, but just so that you're aware of when you need to make a shift. Number 2, don't make it easy for you to break the rules. Identify when you mess up, why you messed up, and then figure out how you're gonna make it easier for you to stick to the rules in the future. And third and final thing, keep yourself moving. Figure out how you can adapt. It's a tough time for everyone right now, but we gotta do our part to keep ourselves moving, keeping ourselves active and healthy so that we come out of this stronger than we came into it. So hope these tips helped you out. Hope they help keep you a little fitter, a little thinner during these lockdown times, and wish you all stay safe. Stay tuned for the next one.